Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's Resideo webinar session. We are excited to be providing an overview of our non-connected thermostats. We'll also be talking you through how you can find the right non-connected solution for your customers as well today. My name is Jamie Quanrud and I'm part of the Resideo Academy team. And on behalf of all of us, I'd like to welcome you to our training session today. And before we get started with our technical overview, we're going to cover just a few administrative items. Make sure that you join us each month as we provide you with 2 opportunities to learn about our Resideo and Honeywell Home branded products. Information on our upcoming sessions are posted on our website here at resideo.com/webinars. You may have noticed that this page got just a little bit of a different look, but I assure you that all the information you're looking for is still there. You can find information on webinars that are upcoming by searching under the discipline tab by either HVAC or plumbing. That's on the left-hand side of that search bar. And then also you can find recorded sessions on this same website by selecting on demand on the right-hand side of those filters. Now for our contractors who are joining us for today's live session and you are interested in earning 1 NATE continuing education credit, there are just a few things to note. If you provided your NATE ID on your registration form, we submit those details to NATE for your attendance of today's live session, and we won't need any additional information from you at this time. However, if you did not provide us with your NATE identification number on that registration form for today's webinar, and you'd like to receive credit for attending our live session, then we ask that you would email your first name, your last name, and your NATE ID number, as well as the date of the session that you attended to homes.university@resideo.com within 1 week from today. We do submit this information to NATE on your behalf following the conclusion of each live session. Any requests that are sent outside of 1 week from each live training session cannot be processed. And as a reminder, we can only process requests for NATE credits when you attend those live webinar sessions. And we are unable to process requests for watching recorded versions of our training sessions. If you'd like more information about the NATE program, go ahead and visit their website at www.natex.org. And then one quick note before we begin our technical overview today, all of our attendees are muted. However, if at any point during our technical overview and you'd like to ask a question, make sure that you use that Q&A feature that is found in your Zoom webinar controls. We are saving the last few minutes of our time together today to answer any questions that you may have. So as we progress through our technical session today, make sure that you ask any questions in that Q&A feature so that we can address those at the end of today's time together. Now we're going to turn over our presentation to Tegan Thostenson, who is part of our Resideo sales team out on the East Coast. Tegan's going to share his knowledge of our non-connected thermostat portfolio today. So Tegan, we're going to turn things over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks everyone for attending today. So we'll go through a little bit of our non-connected portfolio, and then we'll answer some common questions, and then any questions that you guys have at the end that you put through the chat. Hopefully we can get through all of it and have some, you guys learn a few things as well. So our non-connected portfolio, this is kind of what our lines look like. On the top there, we've got our T-Series lineup, which is our newer line of thermostats that we have to kind of consolidate a little bit of SKUs. And then on the bottom there, we have our old Pro 1000, Pro 1000, 2000, and so on series thermostats. And that's something that we've had for quite a while and has been our old reliable, if you will. So Resideo Honeywell Home Products has been really focusing on making all of our products very robust and reliable, but we haven't given up on our non-connect thermostat line, as we understand that's still a very important part of our business. So we've really worked on maximizing our low-cost quality product solutions that are easy to use, that still have the precise accuracy that we're known for, and make sure that we still can apply with all of those applications and be kind of a universal application for thermostats, as well as minimizing callbacks and still working with the millions of existing on-the-wall thermostats for retrofit applications as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is our thermostat nomenclature. Now, this isn't specific to our connected thermostats, but having a brief overview of the nomenclature will help you kind of figure out what thermostat you need and a little bit more about our name solutions and what that can mean for you when you're looking at something. So the first couple letters there is TH or a YTH if it is in a kit, and that just determines thermostat. Now, the next either letter and number or just number determines which thermostat family it is a part of. So in the bottom left corner there, you can see the different families, the T series, FocusPRO, Vision Pro 8000, and so on thermostats. So that's an easy way to decide what thermostat you're looking at there. And then the following two numbers on that example is 4-2. So that would be 4 heat, 2 cool. So you can tell the cooling options very quickly, as well as after that, the 1 displayed is for an onboard humidity sensor. So that's either a 0 or a 1. And then the next number is either a R for red link, WF or ZW for Z wave, and so on, as well as a U or D and so on as well for the non-connected ones. So it's pretty easy to distinguish what thermostat you're looking at part number wise, and helps with ease of ordering too if you can understand this. So jumping in with the thermostats, this is one of our newer thermostats that we came out with last summer. This is the E1 Pro. This is something that was kind of a voice of the customer that we understood we were missing a spot in the market. So we wanted to satisfy that need and desire that our customers had. So this is a really simple, big number, non-programmable, battery powered or hardwired thermostat. You can do both if you'd like to do a backup as well. It's based on the Pro 1000 series. So the terminals for wiring are very, that's something that you've seen before and that are aware of. So really happy to have that. And it's a single stage, 1 heat, 1 cool, or a single stage heat pump application with this. So no scheduling, very simple, straightforward product. Now the installer setup is similar to the Pro 1000 and 2000 series. You've got the 2 buttons on the screen there. You can hold those down. That will help you engage this installer setup. Use the up and down arrows to change the number, and then hold the 2 buttons together for 1 second to advance to the next function, and then press and hold the buttons for a couple seconds to exit and save your settings there. So again, a couple different power options. You can either use a common or C wire to completely power it. Otherwise, you can use the battery supplied in the box as well and do the battery powered only option. Now, if you are going to use the E1 Pro for heat pump, what you'll need to do is jump the W and the Y terminals. Then you will set the fan switch to electric or heat pump on the back there, and then set the heat cycle rate, which is ISU number 5 or ISO number 5, to 3. And that's the same as the Pro 1000 series that you're familiar with already. The next thermostat that you might be familiar with, this also came out last summer, is the T3 Pro thermostats. So we have 2 different options here. We have the TH3110, so our 1 heat, 1 cool model, as well as our TH3210, which is our 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump model. So 2 different SKUs, but both beneficial to have in the portfolio. They're both non-programmable. They have a low temperature setting for heat, so you can go down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. In the Midwest, on the East Coast, there's some garage applications where that makes sense. So different applications for that, but just a nice benefit feature there instead of the typical 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this can be battery powered, hardwired, or both. If you choose to hardwire it and use that C wire, you can use the continuous backlight feature. This has adjustable range stops as well. So if you have a rental property or would like the homeowner to not touch the, adjust the temperature too much, then you can set the adjustable range stops. And then another benefit being on the T-Series lineup is that it utilizes the UWP mounting system. Talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But the cover plate, it's a single piece cover plate. There's no J-box screws in the box, and the vertical mounting holes make it really easy to mount that UWP mounting system on there as well. Accessing the installer setup with the T3 is really straightforward as well. You just hold that menu button for 5 seconds and that will enter the system setup. You will then utilize the up and down arrows to change the settings and then hit the menu button or the done button in this case to exit the system setup and save your changes. Next thermostat here is our Pro 3000. So a lot of you are probably aware this has been out for quite a bit, but this is old reliable, if you will. So it offers a basic non-programmable thermostat, large digital display there, easy to read. It has its basic operations with switches, so it's really straightforward and easy for the homeowner to understand. And the backlit display makes it easy to read in various conditions overall. 2 different part numbers for this. So our 1 heat, 1 cool are a TH3110, and then the 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump model, the TH3210. You can see with the nomenclature, makes it easy to recognize kind of what thermostat you're looking at and what the capabilities of it are. So these are dual powered again, hardwired or battery powered. Displays the room temperature and the set point simultaneously. As you can see in the top right corner of the thermostat screen, it says set to 72. So it's easy for the homeowner as well as the contractor to understand what the thermostat is trying to do. Backlit display, if you utilize that common wire or hardwire it, switchable fan control, and then as well as the 5-year warranty. Next thermostat we're going to be talking about is our FocusPRO 6000. So one thing to note as well with our thermostats and nomenclature is that the odd numbers are non-programmable and the even numbers are programmable. So FocusPRO 6000 is a programmable thermostat with a large screen display. It's a built-in instruction manual when you're going through it there. Easy to read again, easy access to battery replacement. You don't need to take the thermostat off the wall to change the batteries. And then it's a familiar footprint and retrofit installation for contractors as well. I have a few different SKUs for these depending on what screen size you want and the capabilities you want. So the standard is on top there for the 1 heat, 1 cool and 2 heat, 1 cool models with the large on the bottom. And then for our 3 heat, 2 cool model, there is only the large screen option. So the FocusPRO 5000. So it is very similar to the 6000. The 5000, because it is an odd number, it is non-programmable. So it's a little bit different there, but same large backlit display, standard and large sizes, universal applications there, can be battery powered or hardwired, and same thing, easy access to battery replacement, don't need to take it off the wall. And then for heat pump applications, we have the comfort or economy modes. And same with the 5000 series, we have the standard and large SKUs. And then for the 3 heat, 2 cool option, there is only the option for a large screen. So our T-Series non-connected thermostats, hopefully you are all aware of the T-Series and the benefits of it. The T3 is our new option. It's a little bit different in that it is horizontal rather than a square, but it does have its unique features and special place in the T-Series lineup. So all of our T-Series thermostats, our non-connected ones, can be battery powered or hardwired using the C-wire, easy push button operation, and they all include a cover plate in the box. So they all work on that same UWP mounting system as you see in the middle of the screen there. So it is very consistent throughout the portfolio. So included in the box, there is the UWP mounting system. There's 2 AA batteries for if you would wish to use it in a battery only application. There's a decorative cover plate. There's the mounting anchors and screws, and then there is the thermostat literature as well. So the UWP mounting system, what is the benefit of it? The UWP mounting system is very consistent for contractors to install, as it is the same backplate for many SKUs in our portfolio. Every single T-Series thermostat uses this wall plate. So I like to encourage my customers is that if you are setting up any T-Series thermostat, best practice would be to install the thermostat with a common wire if you are able to. The reason for doing so is that it is simple to upgrade in the future. If a homeowner is looking right now at a T3 Pro, they could do that. And then a year later, if they decide, hey, I want a programmable thermostat, you could put on a T4 or T6 Pro. And then if a year or so after that, they would decide that they want a connected thermostat or a Wi-Fi based thermostat, you could put on a T6 Wi-Fi or a T10. And you don't have to change any of the wiring for it. So it's really beneficial there for future upgrade and consistent use with the UWP mounting system. So the UWP mounting system itself is also easier to use. Instead of having jumpers, we have slider tabs that can be brought up and down if you need them, or if you don't need them, whether you're going to control a IAQ device or if you're going to use sensors, then you're good to go that way. As well as having the little door as well. You can close that to hide out the wiring, as well as make sure that the air from the wall behind is not going to interfere with the temperature sensing from the thermostat. Now, like I said earlier, the T-Series thermostats, all of the non-connected ones have the ability to be either battery powered or using a C wire to power them. Now, something else that hopefully you all are aware of is our Resideo private label program. So all of our thermostats have the ability to be a part of our private label program for no cost. What this would do is give you 3 lines or 2 lines if you'd only need 2 to put your company information and contact information on the thermostat. Now, this is laser engraved on the thermostat's face itself, so it looks very clean and like it belongs there. And as I said, it is free. We ship directly to the contractor there. It can get that set up, and you would order them in case quantities, so in 12, and there's no volume commitment or anything like that. So we have seen the benefit with the private label program for if a homeowner has an issue with their system, they're going to be looking at their thermostat, they see your name on their recurring business down the line. So very beneficial program. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to your Resideo sales rep, or your local distributor should have more information on that as well. T1 Pro thermostat. So that's another part of our T-Series thermostat. This is kind of our entry-level T-Series thermostat. Can either do one stage of heat or cool. It cannot do both. So you get to pick one for the first thermostat, the TH101. And then we also have a 1 heat, 1 cool conventional or a single stage heat pump option as well with our TH1110. So the T1 Pro is non-programmable. It also has the low temperature setting like the T3 does for garage applications or wherever you would need a heat setting of 32 degrees Fahrenheit or close to that. be battery powered or hardwired or both as well. If you choose the common wire or hardwired option, you can use that continuous backlight. Has adjustable range stops, and again, like all of our T-Series, it is on the UWP mounting system. So non-programmable, single stage, easy upsell to a T6 Pro Smart or a T10 Pro Smart. C-wire is required for both of those thermostats, being Wi-Fi based. Again, that's why I like to encourage, if you are able to, use a C-wire or a common wire with your installation, even if it doesn't require it. That way it does make it easier for you to upgrade the homeowner in the future. Single or a simple push button functionality, and then it has our 5-year warranty from date of installation. Next thermostats we're going to be talking about is our T4 Pros. So this is the 4 or 4000, if you will, for the nomenclature. So that means that it is programmable. These work with hydronic and forced air applications. The 4110 will be single stage heat or cool, as well as one heat, one cool applications for heat pumps and conventional systems. And then the 4210 will do a 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump application. These are programmable thermostats. They will work with auto changeover as well, if the homeowner doesn't want to have to deal with changing that, as well as if you use the common wire, there's a continuous backlight, and then again, the adjustable range stops. Kind of building off of the T4, we've got our T6 Pro. This has a little bit more functionality and a little bit more SKUs. So starting from the bottom, we have our most basic T6, which is our 1 heat, 1 cool, or our 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump application, the 6210. Then our 6220U is our 2 heat, 1 cool conventional, or 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump, and 2 heat, 2 cool conventional. And then our 6320, which will do up to a 3 heat, 2 cool heat pump. Now this little chart here will show a little bit more of the functionality. Now the key things to see here is on dual fuel and auxiliary heat lockout and balance points. The 6320 and the 6220 are the ones that have that added functionality to be able to do that, as well as being able to accept an outdoor or indoor wired sensor. So the 6210 is a more basic option that will not give you those added features if you are looking for those. So these are some accessories for the T-Series that are available, but they are not included in the box. So we have a decorative cover plate that's a little bit larger. So if you do have a thermostat that you're putting on the wall and there's a little bit of wall acne, if you will, then you can cover that up with that. The THP 2400A 1080, that will come with that large cover plate as well as a J-box adapter if you would need that as well. Next, we have our wired remote indoor sensor. So you can add that to an application if you would need that for any reason, as well as our wired remote outdoor sensor. So that you can use for lockouts if you would need to do that as well. Then lastly, something that maybe not everyone's aware that we have is our C-wire adapter. So if somebody wants to have a connected thermostat or a thermostat that they need more wires than they have currently, this is a way to essentially add a wire to their application. So if they only have 4 wires and they need 5, can get this C-wire adapter to include that extra wire for them. And another thermostat that we've got here is our T6 Pro hydronic thermostat. So this is a single stage heat only thermostat. It comes with the AC112-01 slab floor sensor. Now this thermostat has a little bit of unique application because it comes with that floor sensor. So you can either control the floor temperature using the slab. You can control the ambient temperature or only use the ambient temperature like a normal thermostat would, Another thing that you can do is kind of average or use the limits with both. So a little bit of versatility with this thermostat here. So this is what it could kind of look like for a hydronic floor system. So you would have the slab sensor. You could use that to go into your slab there. And then you would also have your zone panel and your boiler, and just kind of have everything work with each other there and have a more precise temperature reading using that thermostat. So the unique benefits for this T6 Pro hydronic: you can set max floor limits to protect the floor from damage. You can set minimum floor limits to enhance comfort. Antifreeze temperature protection and boiler short cycling protection built in as well. And then regular programming and vacation hold settings. So if a homeowner is using this in an application that is a vacation home, or if they're a snowbird or something of that nature, they would be able to have that set up as well. As well as economy mode, setting overrides the floor low limit setting during away and sleep periods for energy savings. So a little bit of added features for hydronic heating systems with this thermostat as well. Another thermostat that we have that is non-connected is our TL8100. So this is a thermostat that's 7-day programmable. Its bread and butter is kind of on the hydronic side, but there are non-hydronic applications as well. This will work with 24 volt, 120 volt, and 240 volt applications as well as millivolt systems. This also carries the 5-year warranty from date of installation that many of our thermostats do as well. So the hydronic applications, the TL8100, got some pump protection modes to prevent seizure and callbacks. So it activates the pump for 1 minute every 24 hours to make sure nothing clogs up there or seizes. It works well with a few other applications as well. So it works well with a single line volt circulator pump, 24 volt circulator pump relay. Example, our R889A, as well as the R8845Us. Our 24 volt zone valves as well, our 1000 and 5000 series, and then 120 volt zone valves as well. So that would be our V4044s. Now some non-hydronic applications that this thermostat works well with. So this could work with electric heating. That would be a 240 volt max. That would be some baseboard and radiant, but no fan control. Also works for millivolt systems like some gas fireplaces. And this is possible because the thermostat can be battery operated. Can also work with 24 volt gas, oil, or electric systems. So it would be heat only, also with no fan control. So the installer features, there's kind of a step-by-step, if you will, to installing this, the TL8100. Simple installation, fully adjustable cycle range. So you got 3, 4, 6, or 12 cycles per hour. Simple dip switch adjustment. Temperature set point range is 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's armchair programming because it has the 2 AA batteries. So you can program it with the dip switches that go from there, if you will. Then, if you remember kind of the couple slides back, the face of the thermostat will come off, so that will hide all of the programming features. So you have the temperature preset buttons up on top there, additional programming buttons if you want it manual or auto, temperature adjustment on the bottom, and then the various displays on the actual face of the thermostat itself. So it's a little bit of versatility with this thermostat and a really clean look when it's sitting up on the wall.
Thanks, Tegan, for walking us through that overview of our non-connected thermostats and then all those accessories as well. If you're interested in finding out more information about any of the products and accessories that were covered today, you can find that information on the new Resideo Pro website that's shown here. We're going to transition now to answering some common questions about our non-connected thermostat portfolio. As a reminder, if you do have questions on anything that was reviewed today, make sure to take a few moments and enter that information into the Q&A feature that is in your Zoom controls, and we will do our best to address your questions in the time that we have remaining. Joining us today, we've got Peter Cardos, who is also part of our Resideo Sales Team. He's out in the Colorado market. Peter's going to jump in and help answer some of these common questions with Tegan. So gentlemen, I'm going to let you take this away.
Thanks, Jamie. Peter, are you with us?
I am here.
Perfect. Got a couple common questions for you that I think we should tackle. So can the Pro 3000 handle more than one heating or cooling stage?
So yeah, the answer is yes. It is a one heat, one cool stat, but there is also the TH3210, which can handle two heat, one cool for heat pump applications.
Perfect. Do non-connected thermostats control humidity?
So currently we don't have any of our non-connected products that will work with humidification. If you did want to get a thermostat, you would probably want to step into one of our connected products, either T10 or the Vision Pro 8000, like the 8321, or always popular is our Prestige IAQ two-wire red link enabled thermostat.
Then last question that we've got on the common ones until we jump into the ones submitted are, how does the Pro 3000 differ from the FocusPRO 5000?
Yeah, so some differences there are basically when you step into the higher end 5000 series, you get more advanced staging options. The 5000 also features auto changeover, so you don't manually have to switch between heat and cool. And then lastly, a big difference there is the larger screen size on the 3000 versus the 5000. The 3000 is about 1.3 inches versus the 5000, which is closer to 2 inches at 1.9 inches, 1.95 inches.
Perfect. I think we've got some questions in the Q&A box as well. We can go after. And a reminder, if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat and we can go with those as they come up. You have the chat open, Peter?
Yeah, I do. So one question that we've got here is which models have the larger numbers and buttons for those with declining vision? I would recommend the popular ones would be our T3 thermostat. That one, as you kind of stated, we did a lot of the voice of the customer, increased screen size, and then very simple up and down buttons for navigating through the temperature settings. Similarly, the Pro 5000 has a large screen size to it as well. And then both in the Pro 5000 and 6000, you can get larger screen sizes for those also. And then I see we've got here another question. Do we have any options to use outdoor temperature sensor to display the outdoor temperature on the thermostat for occupant information? In our non-connected lineup, the one that I know will take an outdoor temperature sensor is the T6, either the TH6320 or the TH6220 for heat pump applications, although I don't believe that it will actually display the outdoor temperature.
I don't believe so as well. I think that would be, if you want the outdoor temperature, I believe you're going to need to jump up to a Wi-Fi stat and utilize the AccuWeather feature there. So our T10 will display that on the bottom, and I believe our T6 will be able to do that as well. But I don't believe any of our non-connected ones, you can get it to actually display on the screen.
I believe you're correct. And then another question out there is, how many flow sensors can be connected to T6 Pro for indoor heating application? I'm going to assume we're talking about the T6 hydronic thermostat with slab sensor. And I'm not aware that you can attach any flow sensors to that thermostat directly. You would probably have to tie that into some sort of external hydronic control panel, is kind of my best answer for that question. And then one more question here. Are there any thermostat options for ducted mini split system? We had a legacy product called our D6 mini split thermostat, but I believe that one has been sunsetted and is no longer available for order, unless I'm mistaken. Do you have any clarification on that one, Tegan?
I believe you are correct with that. So if you're looking for a mini split control, if you can find the D6, that is an option. However, that one has been sunset now fairly recently, so you might be able to find a few of them out in the field, but as of right now, we do not have any options that we are manufacturing.
And it looks like that might be the last of the questions.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated. Appreciate you walking us through the common questions and answering our questions live here today. Appreciate the great training, and thank you to all of our attendees. We appreciate your engagement with us as we share the details of our non-connected thermostat solutions. If you do think of a question after the close of this training, please feel free to reach out to your local Resideo sales rep, or you can always send an email to homes.university@resideo.com, and we will make sure to get your questions answered. Wanted to also talk through some of the details on the screen here. We appreciate you attending today's session, and we want to make sure that you join us for our next session on Tuesday, August 10th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next Resideo webinar session. We are going to be providing a third in our series of zoning trainings. We're going to be talking about common installation questions for forced air zoning, part 3. If you'd like to find more information about any of the upcoming sessions that we're going to be featuring in August, make sure to visit resideo.com/webinars. And if you search by either the HVAC or the plumbing tabs, you'll find the details of our upcoming sessions on this website. We are also going to be featuring a training on hydronics at the end of August, on the 24th of August, actually. So we're looking forward to those upcoming sessions. Additionally, we do record each of these sessions, and you can find those recordings on that same website by filtering the label for on demand. And then one last reminder to our contractors who did not include your NATE identification number on your registration form. If you'd like to receive credit for today's session, make sure to send an email with your first name, your last name, and your NATE ID number and today's date. Make sure to send that to homes.university@resideo.com within 1 week of today's live webinar in order to receive credit for attending this live session. And then just 2 final things to note before we end our session today. You are going to be prompted to complete a survey regarding our webinar session today. Please make sure to take a few moments to provide us with your feedback on the training session that we provided today. We're very interested to hear what you thought of today's session. We do use your feedback to help us create future training, so your feedback is important. And if you also have suggestions for future training topics for us to cover, we'd like to hear those too. Our zoning trainings have come out of questions we've received from customers in the field. So if there's something you'd like to see us cover, make sure to share that with us in that feedback form as well. And then finally, you're going to receive an email from us in just a few days that includes some follow-up information on the products that we reviewed today, as well as a link to the website for more information on our future webinars and those recorded webinars as well. Again, thank you for joining today's Resideo webinar session. Have a great day, everyone.